This is the vivo V25 and this phone can draw anything you want. Well, almost anything. This device changes its tone in the sun, giving you a level of creative freedom to do all sorts with the body of your device. In this video, we'll be doing a real-life test once we check out all the specs and features. The vivo V25 is a pretty exciting device based on the spec sheet alone. And for this video, we'll unbox it together and I'll be sharing my thoughts about this device in the period I've had it. You already know what comes next. Without further ado, let's get into the video. On opening the box, the first thing we get is the phone, which we'll put to the side for now. Vivo also supplies us with a case as always. You get the manual, the 44-watt charging brick that's supposed to get you from 0 to 61% in 30 minutes, which is nice. We get decent looking headphones, a SIM ejector tool, a charging cable, and a 3.5mm headphone to USB-C adapter. Taking a wrap off of the phone now, we've been given one with the aquamarine blue color. There's also the vivo V25e that has this orange color that looks nice. And there's also the vivo V25 Pro, which has this curved screen. That one is not coming to Nigeria though. However, the focus of this video is on the V25. Right off the bat, I'd say this is a very bold design direction taken by Vivo here. If you're someone who likes the color and exterior of your device to make a statement at first sight, then this guy is for you. The back is a matte finish with a subtle glow effect, and thanks to that matte finish, you should not be bothered by fingerprint smudges on the back of your phone. All that aside, this is what this device's color changing feature looks like. So all you need is a cutout with what you want to write on the device and the device itself. I stepped out with the cutout on top of the device and I went under the sun for a bit, and once I removed this cutout, voila, I had a text on my phone which looked pretty lovely in person. You can wish someone a happy birthday in this unique way. You can send your love in this unique way. You can do almost anything this way, and I thought it was quite cool. You can also do it with UV light if you have access to that, and the use case differs from person to person, but again, it boils down to personal preference. What do you guys think of this feature? Just leave a comment below. Okay, now moving on, when we look around the device, that is the sides now, it carries a more aluminum-like material that really shines and adds points to the overall premium feel of the device. However, this also comes with a caveat of attracting fingerprint smudges on the sides of your phone. Also, the bump on the back carries 3 cameras and an LED flash. The 2 huge circles there pack a 64-megapixel wide camera and an 8-megapixel ultra wide camera. The smaller squircle there right under the flash has a 2-megapixel macro lens. I'm also looking forward to how these perform in reality, so just stay tuned until the later part of this video to watch that, or you can check the timestamps. The one thing that might be a bit of a downside with this design is on the front. While it does not look like the largest bezels on the sides, the chain at the bottom of the display and the way it runs all the way, around the border to the selfie camera may be noticeable once you start using it, but we'll see about that. Overall, it's a pretty clean design with the volume controls and the power button on the right side of the device, and on the bottom is where we have the Type-C charging port, the speakers, and the SIM tray. Now, before we switch to what this device offers on the inside, one thing worth mentioning is just how light and small this device is. It's standing at 6.27 inches when you stand it tall. I think it falls in a sweet spot for people with either large or small palms, so you don't need a dedicated one-handed mode to operate this phone. You can actually reach almost every part of your screen with just one hand. As soon as I powered up the device, I saw this striking interface. It's a pretty interesting design language on the UI as well. I love how this default wallpaper is set to match the device's exterior. It is a sharp and colorful display. Scrolling through feels very smooth too at 90Hz refresh rate. On paper, this is a 6.44-inch AMOLED HDR10+ display with 1080 by 2404 pixel screen resolution and approximately 84.7% screen-to-body ratio. I really don't have any bad thing to say about the display. Everything here is well done and well optimized to match the feeling of using a premium device. For streaming content, everything really pops on here. Interestingly, the display allows you to stream 4K content on YouTube for the best consumption. You will undoubtedly enjoy this display if you have the internet speed and the data bundle to stream high quality content. Thanks to the standard 16:9 aspect ratio of most videos on the internet, it almost feels like you're using a bezel-less display while streaming content on your phone. Even when you zoom in to fill in the screen, it still has an interesting look. The display also gets really bright, and you should not have worries about using this under heavy sunlight. We're in a studio environment and we increase the brightness, it looked very good. And when it comes to typing, it also felt very smooth to use. I love how seamless everything about the display is. In simple terms, Vivo finished work for this display. If we look at the spec sheet, we're getting a 6nm chipset, specifically the MediaTek Dimensity 900 chipset that runs on Google's Android 12 and Vivo's PhoneTouch OS 12. This unit that was sent to us came with 8GB of RAM and 256GB of storage. Now, if 8GB of RAM is somehow not enough RAM for you, the device also expands its RAM by another 8GB, taking up some of the storage space, of course. As a side note, there is also an option for 12GB of RAM if you use your device for many performance-intensive tasks. Now, I did a quick gaming session with this device. I played Call of Duty with the V25 for a bit, and I also noticed something when it comes to the graphics quality setting. On Call of Duty specifically, if you want to game at the highest frame rate, you have to settle for the lowest graphics. And if you want to game at the highest graphics, you have to settle for what they call very high frame rate, and it's not the highest frame rate, as you can see. In a 10-minute Call of Duty session, our battery went from 39% to 35%, which is around 4% battery down for that highest graphic settings. What do you guys think of this battery performance? Just drop a comment below. Now, speaking of battery, apart from having a Dimensity 900 chipset to optimize the battery's performance to the max, you also get a pretty big 4500 mAh battery on this guy. Like every other thing this device has promised on paper, this battery also performs really well. I was worried about the battery life after seeing how lightweight the device is. Still, all that has nothing on the battery of the vivo V25. With all the tests, the device lasted an entire day on just about 50% of battery life. Now, it's worth mentioning that I have not subjected this device to heavy daily use, hence it may be difficult to give a verdict on the actual battery performance of the vivo V25. The one thing you can be sure of though is that you won't be getting a device that will be draining its battery while it's sitting idle. Even with usage, you also get the option to optimize certain features and settings to ensure that you're saving as much battery life as possible. Alright, let's talk about the cameras. As we mentioned earlier, there's a triple camera setup on the vivo V25. 64 megapixel primary camera, 8 megapixels for the ultra wide shots, and 2 megapixels for macro images. Impressive stuff on paper, but experience has always taught us that smartphone photography has much more to do with the software than just the hardware. Thankfully, the vivo V25 does not disappoint in this aspect. I liked the progression from the ultra wide camera to the wide or 1x camera, then 5 times and 10 times digital zoom. The selfie quality on this camera looked detailed, and the portrait mode also looked cool with a nicely blurred image. Front-facing video can look on the exposed or bright side straight out of the camera, but this can also be adjusted manually. Testing the night mode, the difference between the shots taken generally at night and the night mode is noticeable. The night mode shots on this device come out very sharp and evenly lit. Night mode shots are usually a gamble. However, this one clears that sharpness box for me. Now, what are your thoughts about the vivo V25 after you've seen this video? This phone, by the way, has 5G, which is now in Nigeria. For my Nigerians watching this video, that is cool. And the price is also very interesting, 269,900 naira. What are your thoughts? Thank you so much for watching this video, and do like this video if you found it useful. Do subscribe if you want to be the first to know when we post videos like this. I'll see you guys in the next one.